Hey, shalom, family of Yah. At this time, may the peace of Yah be with each and every one of you brothers and sisters. I'm here to share with you a very important video with brothers and sisters that you may know the words of Yah once and for all. Brothers and sisters, this is important to the utmost, brothers and sisters, because I remember when I began to learn the scriptures and become aware about that I am a Hebrew person. I am of the Hebrew nation. Our brothers and sisters, and I found out about the curses and how our people was enslaved. And I remember, and I was reading the information from Israelite Heritage. I say them because this is the fact. I'm telling you, this how I began to get this knowledge of these things and of the words of Yah and about how our ancestors was taken away as slaves. And then when I began to read the scripture, I learned about all the other different times the Hebrews been enslaved. Yes, I knew about the enslavement of Egypt. They was enslaved in Egypt for a period of time. Yes, and you come aware of the prophecy in Genesis chapter 15 that Abiyah told unto Abram at that time before he changed their name to Abraham. That's what I'm going to cover because it's very important because it mentioned a 400-year time period. And it states it twice. But also it mentioned the Amorite nation. It's very significant in this prophecy. Because Abiyah made a promise that he would judge the Amorites. He said they would not be ready to be punished until the 400-year generation be complete, until they return in the fourth generation. So very important, brothers and sisters. So this prophecy has something to do with the children of Israel, Yah, and also the Amorites. I heard many claims about the Amorites, and people come time period and saying when the 400 years is up. And like that prophecy has not came to pass. But I'm here to tell you today, the information I'm going to share with you, 100% the prophecy has already been fulfilled. This enslavement we are in had nothing to do with the 400 years of enslavement back then. I know people come up with their different time frames and calculations, but they all wrong that still say the prophecy had not been fulfilled. Just like many people are wrong about saying that there is a Messiah that came 2,000 years ago, which is falsehood, and claim that the New Testament is not false. So I'm here to show you once again, brother and sister, the words of Yah, that we must trust Abiyah only, brothers and sisters, and rely on his every word, because within his own words, they show you and make it so plain to who is the Amorites. The Amorites is not the Canaanites or the Girgasites or the Hivites or any other nation, but the Amorites. The Amorites is not America. And not the Philistines who are over there now. Palestine. Nobody within that nation. So we're going to cover these things, brothers and sisters. I'm going to start off right here. I'm going to read it from 3 different translations at this time. Because all of your translations might read a little different, so one of these translations might fit your translation so you can understand these prophecies. Must read this whole prophecy right here in detail and see the fulfillment of this prophecy. It's very important, brother and sisters. Even without knowing the time frame of the enslavement period, you still will see the fulfillment of the prophecy. Knowing this prophecy had nothing to do with us, that many claim to be. Yes, I believe in that, and I examined it at the time, and I thought, I linked it up with, so a lot of people get off when they link this up with the curses in Deuteronomy 28. But the curses in Deuteronomy 28 had to do with any time the Hebrews being enslaved. The curses would come upon them. Anytime Abiyah took them from out of their land, that was part of Deuteronomy 28. Brothers and sisters, you got to understand these things and know them things. But I'm not concentrating on that at this moment, but we're going to concentrate and go over this prophecy that is very important that you may understand and know who the Amorites are and the time of their punishment came. So let's read it. It say, Yah told Abram, your descendants will be oppressed. I'm reading this first one right here, the Living Bible, paraphrase translation. It reads this, and Yah told Abram, your descendants will be oppressed as slaves in a foreign land for 400 years. But I will punish the nation that enslaved them, and at that end they will come away with great wealth. He said, but you will die in peace, and at a right old age. Then it says, after 4 generations, see, it's repeating, after 4 generations, they will return here. So one thing you got to keep in mind, we are in America, but the whole seed of Abraham is not in America. Yada came, the other tribes were scattered throughout other regions of the world. So keep that in mind. But anyway, right here it says 4 generations, they will return here to this land. Sure, he said to this land, because Abraham was in that land at that time. And he was a foreigner in that land. You got to keep that in mind as well. Because the land was not given into their hands at that time. So all the things got to be on your mind dealing with this prophecy. It's 4 generations, they will return here to this land. For the wickedness of the Amorite nation living here now, see, when Abraham prophet was given to Abraham, Abraham was in that land, the Amorites was in that land, and they were doing wickedness, sin to the max. But it didn't reach to that point where Abraham wasn't going to punish them yet. But he said when that time comes, in the 4th generation, when they return, that time will be. Let's read it. He said, and the Amorite nation living here now will not be ready for punishment until then. See, until of the return in the 4th generation, he said after the 4th generation. After the 4th generation, they will return, see. So after the 4th generation, Abraham told Abraham the Amorites will be ready to be punished. Will not be ready to be punished until then. So, I'm telling it, when that time period, see, the Amorite had a time period for the accomplishment of their sins. Abraham set. And also the time that Abraham's seed was going to be released. You'll see, all of this came to pass, brothers and sisters. Anybody speaking against Abraham's words, saying Abraham lying. Because one thing in America, the Hebrews been in America, the whole continent of America, for over 400 years. Now it's been over 5 generations, over 500 years. You got to know that. The first enslavement of the Hebrew people started in the southern part, not in the southern, well, you can say United States, but in the southern part of America. Because we're looking at the whole continent. Brothers and sisters, you got to do your homework and check these things out. So right here, let me keep reading. It says, as the sun went down and it was dark, Abraham saw a smoking fire pot, flaming torch that passed between the halves of the carcass. So that day, Yah made the covenant with Abraham. So he made the covenant with Abraham that day. So I had given this land to your descendants from the Wadi El Aresh to the Euphrates River, and I give to them the nations, the Kenites, the Kenizzites, the Chemonites, the Hivites, the Perizzites, the Rephaim, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Girgasites, and the Jebusite. See, all of these nations, he gave into their hands, brothers and sisters. Amorite was an excluded nation from all the rest of them nations, brothers and sisters. But the prophecy was that the Ammonites, he was dealing with the Ammonites in that prophecy. It said after the 4th generation, The punishment of the Amorites will be ready for punishment at that time. So now you got to find out, did the Amorites receive that punishment? So if they received that punishment in that land, you automatically know the 400 years been fulfilled. Because the Ammonites, so we're concentrating on the Ammonites, brothers and sisters, at this time. I'm going to go to 1 Kings. Hold up, I told you I was going to read from the other. Let me keep my word. I'm read briefly from it real quick. I'm going to speed it up. This one coming from the Open Bible by American Standard. It'll read real quick. And Barah said to Abram, know for certain that your descendants will be strangers in the land that is not theirs, where they will be enslaved and oppressed for 400 years. But I will also judge the nation whom they will serve, and afterward they will come out with many possessions. And as for you, you shall go to your fathers in peace, and you shall be buried at a ripe old age. And then in the 4th generation, they shall return here, for the iniquities of the Amorites is not yet complete. You see that? So let me go down to the next right here. This one is called the New American Bible, and it reads: Then Yah said to Abram, know for certain that your descendants shall be aliens in a land not their own, where they shall be enslaved and oppressed for 400 years. But I will bring judgment on the nation that they must serve, and in the end they shall depart with great wealth. This is not talking about the end of the age. It's talking about the end of that time period of their enslavement. So don't let nobody trick you on that, because they're trying to say it's talking about the end of age. So no, it's talking about the end of that time period. So let me keep reading. It said, but I will bring judgment on the nation you must serve, and in the end they will depart with great wealth. See, or they serve to, at the end of their servitude, they're going to part away with great wealth. It said, you, however, shall join your forefathers in peace, and you shall be buried in a content old age in the 4th time span. The others shall come back here, and the wickedness of the Amorites will not have reached it full measurement until then. You see that? So keep that in mind. With that, I'm going to go to 1 Kings 21, 25, 26. Because Abiah promised in that land, he made a covenant with Abraham at that time in the land of Canaan, what they call it. In the land of Canaan, he made that proclamation to that covenant with him, that agreement. So keep these things in mind. Majority of people know that as a fact. And majority of people can agree to that point. We must trust Abiyah, brothers and sisters. So people try to figure out times and come up with the wrong times. Regardless of what time, you're still going to be wrong once you hear this video. It's at 1 Kings chapter 21, 25, 26 reads. Let me get my place. It said no one else was so complete sold out to the devil as Ahab. For his wife, I'm reading this from the Living Bible again. It said, for his wife Jezebel encouraged him to do every sort of evil. He was especially guilty because he worshipped idols, just as the Amorites did. So keep that in mind. See, the Amorites did these things as well, so greatly. And then the people whom Yah had chased out of the land to make room for the people of Yezreel Yah. You see that? Abiyah, this was the punishment. Well, I'm not complete yet. It was the statement. It stated what Abiyah did to the Amorites, because now they was already in the land. When you see the books of Kings, they already took the land. They were just going over the account how the Amorites got put out of the land. See, so showing that been fulfilled, and it was fulfilled by no other than Israel Yah themselves. And you're going to see the who that led them to defeat the Amorite, the punishment. See, Abiyah said, When your 400 years be over, when it was finally over, it was over in Egypt. Remember, they plundered the Egyptians and asked for silver and gold, and they gave them silver and gold, and they went away with great wealth. See, all of this was fulfilled. I didn't know that. That's what all the videos, I got to go back and delete the 400 years and all that. All of that is over. Okay, how you try to calculate the time frame, but the time frame fit our time frame in the calculation. He did it. It's fulfilled. And you're going to see that because the prophecy of the 40 years included the Amorites. He said at the end of the 4th generation, then Amorites will be ready for punishment. Right here, it just gave you a small bit to show you the Amorites were put out of the land. It was ready for the Amorites. There's only one Amorites. So let me get there, and don't let nobody ever deceive you, brothers. And we'll go back to Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1 to 2. So we're going to go through these things right here. Chapter 7 of Deuteronomy, verse 1 to 2 reads, when Yah bring you into the promised land, as soon as he soon will, he will destroy the following 7 nations, all greater and mightier than you are: the Hivites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. So keep that in mind. 2, verse 2. When Yah your Barah delivered them over to you to be destroyed, do a complete job of it. Don't make any treaties or show them mercy. Utterly wipe them out. Keep that in mind. Now I'm going to go to Yahshua. Yahshua, the one that led them into victory. Some people call his name Yahushua, but Yahshua, the one led them into victory. Chapter 10, 1 Kings. No, excuse me. I'm looking at 1 Kings. My fault. Excuse me. Not 1 Kings. I'm going to Joshua. The book of Joshua. But his real name is Yahshua. Chapter 10, verse 6 to 12. So give me a moment. Let me get there, brothers and sisters. Let me get 10. 6 to 12 reads, the men of Gibeon hurriedly sent message to Yahshua of Gilgal, come and help your servants. They demanded, come quickly and save us. See, they were looking at him as a savior. He was sort of like a Messiah. He was a Messiah because he was anointed of Yah. Yah anointed him, appointed him for the position. See, even this was the one that pretended and they used his name and him as Messiah in the New Testament. They brought up because he was a Messiah. He was a leader. And he conquered their enemies, and they depended on him. And you can see it right here. He said, come quickly and save us. For all the kings of the Amorites who live in the hill are here with their armies. See? You see that? All the kings of the Amorites. Now you don't have some of the kings. Now you got the whole nation of the Amorite kings who live and the hills are here with their armies. So Yahshua and Yezreel, your army, left Gilgal and went to rescue Gibeon. He said, don't be afraid of them. Yah said to Yahshua, for they are already defeated. I have given them to you to destroy. Not a single one of them will be able to stand up to you. And Yahshua traveled all night from Gilgal and took the enemy armies by surprise and then Yah threw them into a panic, so that the army of Israel slaughtered great numbers of them at Gibeon, and chased others all the way to Beth Horon and Azekah, Makkedah, killing them along the way. And as the enemy was racing down the hills of Beth Horon, Yah destroyed them with great hailstones. See how Yah even stepped in this. Not just that, continue all the way to Azekah. In fact, more men died from the hail than the swords of Yezreel. And as the men of Yezreel were pursuing and harassing the foe, Yahshua prayed aloud, "Let the sun stand still over Gibeon, and let the moon stand in its place over the valley of Ashkelon." Or Yalan. And the sun and the moon didn't move until Israel's army had finished the destruction of its enemies. And this described in great detail in the book of Yashar. So the sun stopped in the heavens and stayed dead for almost 24 hours. And there had never been such a day before, and there has never been another since, when Yah stopped the sun and the moon, all because of the prayers of one man. But Yah was fighting for Israel after Yahshua and Israel army returned to Gilgal. You see what took place? Y'all say and that was the punishment right there, brothers and sisters, of the Amorites. Let me read it yet a little bit more. Chapter 11, verse 23 reads, "So Yahshua took the entire land just as Yah has instructed Moshe, and he gave it to the people of Yezreel as their inheritance, and divided the land among the tribes. So the land finally rested from its wars." You see that, brothers and sisters? So they defeated the Amorites. The punishment came down on the Amorites, showing 100% the prophecy been fulfilled, just like Abiyah said, brother and sister. And they took the whole land. That's how we got that land. This time of exile, remember when Yada, first the northern nation of Israel, Yah got put out, and they've been out of the land for 2,700 years. Then Yada been put out and been out of the land around now 2,500 years. Abiyah never set no certain date. He just said many days they're going to be without a king. He especially said that to the northern nation. And plus Yada. He said many days we're going to be without a king. That's why we don't have no Messiah. He never put a time. Then Abiyah said until the time when he wake us up, when you see that on the Can He Dry Bones Live. And we got, and this other prophecy tell how we must turn to Yah and admit that he sent us away to be punished. We got to accept our punishment. We got to confess our sins, and then we got to obey him and return in the wilderness for judgment. So the 1619 had nothing to do with it. I know if I heard say that 1619 and 2019 going to be 40 years. They got nothing, their prophecy been fulfilled. I just show you that right through the words of Yah. That's the only time and the last time the Amorites existed. It will never be no more Amorites. It will never be no more completion of the Amorites because the whole prophecy has been fulfilled. Brothers and sisters, already. When they came out of Egypt after the fourth generation, and when they went into that land and defeated the Amorites with the aid of Yah, the hailstones came down and destroyed more of the Amorites than the nation of Israel altogether, brothers and sisters. That was the punishment. He's told them, just like that, after the fourth generation, it's going to be fulfilled. They'll be ready for punishment. And because of the sins and idolatry worship of the Amorite, I took them nation. That's why. Then he told another prophet. He told them, go and do what they do, or I'm gonna put you out of the land as well. What occurred? We went in, did what they done, and we've been out of that land ever since to this day. And then he said he's only gonna bring back a remnant back into the land and repopulate that area. Brothers and sisters, that's why I tell you. You listen to Israelite Herb or anybody else. I say that to them because that's where I got my information from before and got started believing that 400 year too. And that was the prophet but now Allah showed me greater knowledge and wisdom. It's been there, it's in the scriptures all the time. People come up with their calculation dates, but they all false. You can't trust them. Trust the words of Yah, brothers and sisters. That's what I tell you. It's plainly right there in the prophets. It's only one Amorite. Somebody tell you the Amorites still over there. They lying. It's plain in there to show you who defeated them with the aid of the help of Yah fighting for them. To get rid of the Amorites. And he got rid of them. That was the punishment. That was all a part of the prophecy they gave to Abraham and the enslavement. So that enslavement, this enslavement right here is the many days until the time for we be awakened and the bones be awakened, had the knowledge to return back. And that's why, brothers, I hope you start, those who did the video, start taking what I'm telling you seriously and get ready. Because when you listen to anybody and you love anybody more than Yah, and that's why I seen my fault. I seen my errors. I saw my mistakes, and and by the will of Yah, I seen them and I corrected them. It's no 400 years. 400 years, that process is dead and gone. So we have no 400 years to wait for. Our ancestors been fulfilled that prophecy of Abraham. That prophecy of Abraham is complete. We are in the other enslavement. We are at the last enslavement of the Hebrew people, brothers and sisters. So we never want been given to that. We're going to go away with great wealth. So all of that is squashed. One thing I don't, all y'all said, when we get back home, the nation's going to bring us wealth. So we don't have to leave with great wealth and all these things, need all these things to go home, brothers and sisters. We're going to get all of these things. That's why I tell you, you got to meet me down on the East Coast. We got to get on them ships and go home like Abiyah said. But first we got to go the way we came back through the wilderness and meet Abiyah in the wilderness. And he going to judge his debt and take his selection. And the rebels he going to remove out the way. The lying, the liars. So there's no 400-year prophecy for us. We don't have to worry about how long we've been in America. It doesn't even matter. Because we've been in the land of America for over 500 years, brother. These are the facts. Go check the records. It got nothing to do with Jamestown, 1619. These are the lies. Anybody keep saying that, they are lying. The truth of Yah is not in them. And the scripture plainly show you that. That prophecy in Genesis 15:13 been completed already. With that, I say shalom.